You drive by Haile Selassie at 8 p.m., people are still in the offices. Not because they earn, not because they earn overtime. They don't. But it is because of the passion and the need, to deliver for this country.
Thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Dickens Ngicho, and today on Nation and NTV Digital, I'm hosting one of Kenya Revenue Authority's commissioners, Dr. Fred Mugambi. He's the head of Kenya School of Revenue Administration. The institution trains on tax and custom administration, fiscal policy and management. Dr. Mugambi is here to shed light why KRA established the institution.
Thank you very much, Dickens. It's my pleasure to be hosted by you for this particular interview. Yes, Fred Mugambi is the commissioner and head of the Kenya School of Revenue Administration, which is a department of the Kenya Revenue Authority. But just to give you a lot more information about the school, Kenya School of Revenue Administration, in short we call it KESRA, is as old as this country in terms of the independence. But at the independence, we were basically 3 schools, and each of the schools was looking at different things, VAT, income tax, and customs. But when the KRA came into formation, then the 3 schools were combined. And that is when now we became a unified school, basically training in all the areas of tax and customs. And so in a nutshell, then KESRA is the training school of the Kenya Revenue Authority. But besides that, we are actually a continental school, and many people may not be aware of this. Because we host the African Academy of the OECD in charge of tax and financial crimes investigations. But besides that, we are also the largest of the 4 accredited World Customs Organization training schools in East and Southern Africa.
In East and Southern Africa.
East and Southern Africa. And therefore, in that regard, then we train for the World Customs Organization in 24 countries. Basically all the countries in East and Southern Africa. And as the largest of the 4 training institutions.
What does that mean for Kenya Revenue Authority?
Oh yes, that is huge because as you may be aware, the Kenya Revenue Authority is perhaps the largest unified revenue authority in the region. And just to show you exactly the magnitude of that, the authority collects basically revenue that is larger than what is collected by all the other East African countries combined. And so we are a key player, not just in East Africa, but also in Africa. And so is the school. I should also have mentioned that we are the regional training partner for the African Tax Administration Forum, which is basically a forum headquartered in South Africa, which brings together all revenue authorities in Africa. And so that is the size of the school in terms of the external environment. Internally, of course, like I said, we are the training school of the Kenya Revenue Authority, and therefore we are the training arm that builds capacity among the about 8,000 KRA staff. We are also the government trainer in areas of tax and customs, and therefore we train a lot for various government agencies and county governments in areas of tax. We are supporting various counties to develop their own source of revenues and to put in place structures that would help to make them more sustainable. We have done that already with a county like Samburu and Lamu, and of course we are working with a few others to deliver that. Yes.
Why do you think it's important that people are trained on tax and customs?
Oh yes, it is absolutely important. It is absolutely important because tax is basically the lifeline of an economy.
Yes.
Sometimes it is not easy for people to connect the taxes they pay with whatever else is happening in their lives. But when you think about the roads, when you think about the hospitals, when you think about the schools, when you think about salaries for our military officers, for our police officers, for our nurses and doctors, for our teachers, when you think about basically what runs this country,
yes,
it is tax. Of course, we do, as a country, get support here and there from our multilateral and bilateral partners.
Yes, yes.
But largely, we run this country using the tax that we pay.
Okay.
And I mean, as a Kenyan, I'm very proud because Kenya is one of the few countries in this region that is actually able to sustain a huge portion of its budget through the various taxes that are collected.
Okay.
But I also need to mention that our job is not just collecting taxes, but we also facilitate trade. Remember, we have a customs side of things, and these are the things we train in. So we basically also manage our borders. We control things that come in and things that go out. Yes. And therefore, by doing that, we are able to protect local businesses. One of the questions that many people ask is, what are we doing for small enterprises? If it was not for the, for the border control arm,
yes,
that my colleagues in customs,
the one in Amanga,
yes, that they man, then we would have a lot of influx of unregulated products from other countries that are not duted, and that would make it very difficult for our traders to sell anything. And so KRA sits right at the center of the operations of this country.
Okay.
Everybody needs some kind of tax advisory. Every business needs some kind of tax advisory. And therefore, in our mature selves, perhaps, as a business community,
yes,
we need, people who can check our books, people who can advise us on taxes, people who can tell us that VAT has moved from 16 to 14 and is now back from 14 to 16%.
Yes.
Needless to say,
yes,
curricula in universities and curricula in business schools does not evolve as fast as the tax environment evolves.
Yes.
And therefore, the role we play as a school is to be able to, bring this knowledge to the market if and when things, change.
Yes.
But that said, customs specifically is a very technical area, and it requires, knowledge that may not be accessible by various other business, schools. Our students, for example, go through a lot of practical sessions, and they are able to go through practical sessions in environments that are not accessible to the general public.
Yes.
They are able to access, the secure sides of our systems, so that then they are able to, to go through this. So when I talk of secure sites, I'm talking about the learning environments within our systems. And basically, universities may not be able to access that.
Okay.
Then secondly, the kind of technical knowledge required is lacking in our business schools. I am sure you're not likely to find too many people with customs training in any of our business schools.
Yes.
And therefore, if our business schools were to run a curriculum, for example, in customs, it would be absolutely difficult for them to be able to deliver that curriculum because they don't have the skill. We are members of various, international bodies. For example, we are members of the World Customs Organization.
Yes.
And there is a lot of knowledge that flows through that, membership. And naturally, business schools cannot be members of some of these bodies.
Yes.
So all these things then place us at a vantage point. They place us at a point where we are then able, to deliver some of these curricula.
Okay.
Yes.
How is KSRA supporting counties to become more efficient in revenue collection?
Now, when you've been in the kind of space that we are in for over 20 years,
Yes.
then there is a lot of learning that you do. So you go through a very important learning curve, and you're able to know the do's and don'ts in setting up, a revenue collection system, for example.
Yes, yes.
Counties lack this kind of knowledge because they have not had this kind of experience that we have had as the Kenya Revenue Authority. One of the challenges that you'll find in counties is their lack of efficiency when it comes to collecting, and therefore you'll find that the cost of collecting is very high. That is one. Number two, you'll find that their technical knowledge may not be as high as the technical knowledge that KRA has, again, given the experience that we have. And therefore, there are two things that we are able to do for the counties. One is to train their staff so that then we are able to inculcate the knowledge that then helps them to set up some of the systems that they need to have. But then, secondly, it is to come in as consultants, on a government-to-government arrangement and help them to set up some of these systems. But there is a third one that I didn't mention, that we are also, as a KRA, able to get into arrangements with them to be able to collect for them some of, the taxes, not the taxes, but the levies, that they're supposed to be collecting. And of course, I'm sure it is not lost on us that we are currently partnering very closely with the NMS, with the Nairobi Metropolitan Services, to do exactly that. And so the pool of knowledge within our setup then is very rich. And I would be calling on counties really to come and, pick on this knowledge. We are able to, train them on various, methods that they can use to collect, the various systems that they need to put in place, the various tax heads and how to manage all these tax heads, so that also they don't get into legal problems on the areas of tax. Yes.
You can be sure most of the time when we have deadlines nearing, people are always running to those who have experience in filing taxes and all that. So who are you speaking to as KSRA? Because tax is complex and wide.
Yes, I do agree with you that tax can be a little challenging.
Yes.
Not everybody loves calculations and things like those.
Yes.
But again, tax is part of society. And if tax is part of society, then we have to have a critical mass of society that understands the nitty-gritties of tax. Who then can come in and support the rest of the community as far as, tax knowledge is concerned. And therefore, we are working with tax agents and, doing refresher programs for them. We are working with clearing agents in the areas of transport and logistics, and therefore in customs matters, because they support, importers when it comes to clearing and forwarding. We are working with, county governments. We are working with private sector operatives, and in this regard, for example, there are various people who handle various aspects of tax in various organizations. For example, you'll find that the head of HR is quite involved in matters to do with PAYE. You'll find that the head of supply chain is greatly involved in some withholding taxes, but also some of these organizations do import some of their things. And therefore, the head of supply chain needs to have an understanding of, some of these processes. We have situations where sometimes organizations get, import things from other countries, only for those things to land in Mombasa, and you're told this is the duty, which sometimes is higher, maybe higher than they expected. Sometimes they may import things that land in Mombasa, and you're told that these ones are not allowable
Yes.
in the country.
Yes.
You can imagine how much that organization could have, spent bringing in all those things only for those things not to be allowed into the country. Of course, the other person that is of interest to us is the head of finance in the various organizations, because ultimately these are the people who pay. And these are also the people who, draw checks to the Commissioner of Domestic Taxes or the Commissioner of Customs when it comes to duties. It is important for the CEO of the organization to have some basic understanding of, tax issues, so that, they are able to ask the right questions when they are managing the organizations.
Yes.
When we come to the board, of course, we have various committees: the audit committee, the budgetary committee, the accounts and budgetary committee, the human resource committee. All these committees need to have good information as far as tax is concerned, and therefore out there then those become our targets for corporate training.
Yes.
But we also run programs from certificate to diploma to higher national diploma, postgraduate diploma in partnership with JKUAT, and master's degree in partnership with Moi University, for those people who want to spend a little more time with us to be able to ground themselves in matters tax. And these programs are quite flexible. For example, if we look at the higher national diploma, it's a modular program, where you can come in. Of course, it has an entry level of a degree. You can come in, do one module for just about 3 weeks,
yes,
finish that, and you get your transcript, apply for the next module. And so it's very flexible, and it's online.
Yes.
And so, as a high school bursar seated in Mandera can tune into the program.
Oh, yeah.
And they'll be in the same class with, accountant from Busia.
Yes.
Yes. And very interestingly, because of technological issues, the guest speaker that day could be the head of tax in Lagos City Council.
Yes.
You see, I know that KRA is committed, in supporting this country, and you have no idea how passionate, a critical mass of the people in this organization are about this country.
Okay.
I came from the private sector, and then I went to work in a university, and then I transited to KRA. And when I came here, my perception completely changed, because this is a place where people work hard. You drive by Haile Selassie at 8 p.m., people are still in the offices. Not because they earn, not because they earn overtime. They don't. But it is because of the passion and the need, to deliver for this country. And therefore, I think it is important that as a country, sometimes we look at that other side, of the story.
Yeah.
Are there challenges in terms of, like you said, leakages here and there? I mean, I can't hide my head under the sand. They are there.
Yes.
And that is why, for example, my Commissioner General has been very vocal when it comes to issues of integrity. I do not think any organization in Kenya has let go as many staff as KRA in the last 2 to 3 years on account of integrity.
Yeah.
We have a very strong intelligence and strategic operations department, which basically focuses on not just intelligence, but also integrity. Right now, we have a very robust whistleblower program, where if you think someone is corrupt or if you think someone is not paying taxes, or if you think someone has colluded, or you have evidence that someone has colluded with someone not to pay taxes, all that you need to do is go into the whistleblower, platform and anonymously report.
Anonymously.
And anonymously report, and you're completely protected. And action will be taken immediately. And therefore, I can tell you that my colleagues and myself are doing everything we can, of course, under the guidance of our Commissioner General, to be able to deliver a KRA that is desirable by the public, and a KRA that is of service to the public.
Okay.
Yes. Of course, being in charge of a school like this one is not necessarily a walk in the park, but I have an amazing team of staff who are, again, very passionate about what they do, and a team that is moving in the direction, in the vision that I explained. And therefore, because of this kind of attitude, this positive attitude among my staff, then it becomes very easy, for us to be able to sit here, plan, strategize, and move.
Yes.
But then again, and unlike many organizations, and I say that with respect, we as commissioners have a lot of support from our Commissioner General, and we have a lot of support from the board. And that is what makes it way, way easier, for us to deliver.
Okay.
What are some of the challenges? Of course, as a school, we are supposed to go with the times. And we are supposed to identify the new challenges that, come up in the workplace, and quickly develop a curriculum and be able to deliver, that curriculum. We are constantly, developing new partnerships. One of the partnerships that we have is with the Kenya Defence Forces through the National Defence College. And we are training all our senior managers on ethics and leadership in partnership with the National Defence College. And there's a 10-day, program. But we are also developing more programs with the KDF. We are developing more programs with our other agencies. And therefore, managing these collaborations, of course, is also not very easy. But by and large, I enjoy, working here, and I enjoy, working within a very robust, a very, intelligent and largely young team.
Yes.
within the school. And were it not for this team,
yes,
I do not think we would be as far as we are. My PhD actually is in entrepreneurship.
Oh.
And my thesis was in value chains. And basically, you find a lot of small enterprises being at the lower levels of the value chains. And I am aware that a lot of these micro enterprises remain informal. And therefore, one of the things that we really need to encourage is to get these enterprises to move from being informal to becoming formal. And there are a lot of benefits around that. For example, when you become formal, you have easier access to finance. You have easier access to contracts.
Yes.
Some organizations will not touch you if you're not properly registered, right?
Very true, very true.
And then you will have easier access to a lot of other, services, both at government level, but also outside, government. And therefore, there are a lot of benefits of formalizing. When you formalize, then again, you'll find that there is a lot of knowledge now that starts flowing towards you, both, deliberately and indeliberately. And some of this knowledge, for example, is on how to file your taxes, how to save, what kind of accounts you should have, and so on. Because if we conduct our trainings, in many cases, you're looking at enterprises that are known. And those are the enterprises you invite, for trainings. And therefore, I think it is absolutely important that small enterprises are encouraged. But I also said that I think one of the challenges that we are having in this country is that we do not have too many, highly successful, well-built, mature value chains. And I'll give you an example. One of the value chains that you can say that you can look at it from end to end is the tea value chain.
Yeah.
Because you can see, tea as seedlings, tea as fertilizer, being planted, growing, being taken to a collection center, which is then taken to a factory, which is then processed, packaged, sold locally and exported. I wish we were able to say that for mangoes. I wish we were able to say that for carrots. I wish we were able to say that for cabbages. I wish we were able to say that for everything else. Because, in my opinion, that is how, for example, we would grow our tax base. But also, that's one of the ways we would move our agriculture from just being, a GDP on the table, on the dinner table kind of item, to a sector that contributes significantly to tax. We have a situation, and the situation is that agriculture, in terms of GDP, it contributes between 32, 33, 34% to the GDP. But how much does it contribute in terms of tax? Between 2 and 4% year on year. And
2 and 4?
Yes. And therefore, truth be said, agriculture is our biggest sector, but agriculture is largely a dinner table GDP contributor. We need to move agriculture from being a dinner table GDP contributor to being a tax contributor, and therefore we need to be able to tap from agriculture and build roads. We need to be able to tap from agriculture and build build various other amenities that can serve the farmers. So I think this is an important direction for us to go.
Okay.
Yes.
You've had an illustrious career.
I do not consider myself successful yet. It's a journey.
Yes, I agree.
And like I said, I think there is more ahead than where we are coming from.
Yes.
What has brought me this far, I would say, is one, discipline, and being true to the self. I think there is a sense in which we lie to ourselves a lot. You buy a new car and you condition yourself to believe you are now successful. You move from a one-bedroomed or a single-room apartment into a one-bedroom apartment, and you condition yourself to believe you are now okay. But I think it should be work in progress.
Yes.
And therefore, thirst for excellence cannot and should not be quenched. You can never get to a point where you say that I'm now okay. It should be a mirage.
Yes.
Which you keep, running towards. And therefore, I try to be as disciplined as I can. I have an insatiable thirst for knowledge, so I keep reading.
Yes.
I listen to a lot of podcasts when I'm driving.
Yes, I saw that.
From work, when I'm going home, and when I'm coming to work and when I'm going home.
Yes.
I have a very supportive family.
Yes.
And family support is absolutely important. You do not want to be fighting battles at home, and you're coming to serve in the office, where perhaps you would be fighting more battles.
Yes.
You will never deliver. I have a very, supportive team of friends, even when we are taking, even when I'm taking a drink with them, you know, sometimes I'll bounce ideas off with them. But I think I've also been blessed to work and extremely good and supportive bosses.
Okay.
Bosses who have been largely mentors to me, including my current boss. You know, if I have a problem, you have an issue, all I need to do is place a call to him or walk to his office and tell him I'm in a gray area, and we discuss, and we are able to come up with a, you know, with a solution. But like I said, it's largely not about me.
Yes.
I think it is about the environment, you know, that I've found myself in.
Yes.
And so, yes, call them blessings. But I think the environment around me and the environment within me have conspired to make me who I am today.
Okay, what are you reading now? What are you watching now?
Oh, wow. Many men watch soccer. A lot.
Very true.
A lot.
We do.
and I love soccer, but I'm not an ardent soccer fan.
Yeah.
I find myself watching things that many people would deem to be a little more boring.
Yes.
You know? I would be interested in the journey that Elon Musk has taken to bring technology in terms of motoring to where it is now. And if I was given a choice between watching Arsenal lose to Man U,
yes, lose to Man U,
and watching the Tesla story,
yes,
I would take Tesla. I watch a lot of things that have aspects of knowledge that defy our current moments. I listen to a lot of podcasts by people like Robert Greene, Sam Harris, you know, and many in that, you know, category. I watch a lot of life stories of people who have succeeded, but also people who have failed.
Yes.
Because I want to be able to pick, you know, from that. And right now I'm reading 2 books. One is a book called Being Supernatural. And it's an amazing book because it talks about the unlimited potential of the mind. And the other book that I'm reading is The Laws of Human Nature by Robert Greene.
Yes.
And I've basically read everything by Robert Greene. Again, which talks about the nature of humans, because you cannot move anything alone. You can only move things by understanding the nature of the people that you're working with and the people who are working, you know, for you. So those are 2 important, you know, books that I would recommend to many people. I mean, to as many people as possible. And of course, there's a whole host of, you know, other things that, you know, I watch at different times and listen to and read.
Okay.
I'm not a keen reader of newspapers, for example.
Yes.
I'm not a keen reader of fashion.
Yes.
You know, once in a while, I'll flip through.
Yeah.
But largely, I want things that have a little more impact on my life.
Okay.
Yes.